معركة بهذا الحجم وصمود بهذا الحجم وعدم قدرة إسرائيل وأمريكا والغرب على نزع سلاح حماس أو تحطيم سلاح حماس كما يدعون، بأنهم لن يستطيعوا عبر سنتين في اليوم من خلال التفاوض يحصلوا على مثل هذه المسائل.
Hey everyone. So in all the talk about what's going to happen next in the Gaza Strip and President Trump continuing to insist that Hamas agreed to disarm, that they agreed to lay down their weapons. He says it over and over again. Every time he talks about the issue, he said it most recently last week at the Davos World Economic Forum meeting that they agreed to do it. And I've been pointing out on my other content on the Israel 365 YouTube channel and also in my writings, and I write columns in the Jerusalem Post. I've been saying over and over again that Hamas never agreed to do that. And you just have to pay attention to what they actually say. And they've been saying from the beginning they never agreed to do that. Now, I don't think that President Trump is lying. I think that someone probably told President Trump, probably the Qataris or the Turks or both, or someone like that, probably told President Trump, no, don't worry, Hamas agreed. They will, don't worry, they'll disarm. But Hamas insists that they will not disarm. And I want to show you how adamant they are and how recently they've been saying this. So here is an interview with Musa Abu Marzuk. He is one of the top people in Hamas. He's one of the last remaining top older founders of Hamas, from the original students of Sheikh Ahmed Yassin of the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood, the founders of Hamas. He's in his 70s. He's been one of their top leaders from the beginning. He gave an interview on Al Jazeera in Arabic in Qatar on the 28th of January. So that's 2 days ago. 2 days ago, he gave this interview. And let's look at what he has to say, because he doesn't only talk about the disarmament issue. He also talks about Hamas's whole approach to this next phase. And it gives us a bit of an inkling of what we can expect to be dealing with Hamas in the coming days. Let's take a look at this, and then we will come back and talk about it.
ولا عن أي صيغة لها علاقة بتدمير أو تسليح أو نزع سلاح وما إلى ذلك من قضايا، بل هذا أصلا هذا المنطق لم يعرض علينا أصلا، لأنه أصلا ما في أحد مقتنع بأنه معركة بهذا الحجم وصمود بهذا الحجم وعدم قدرة إسرائيل وأمريكا والغرب على نزع سلاح حماس أو تحطيم سلاح حماس كما يدعون، بأنهم لن يستطيعوا عبر سنتين في اليوم من خلال التفاوض أن يستطيعوا أن يحصلوا على مثل هذه المسائل.
يعني البنود العشرين لخطة الرئيس ترامب والتي بعد ذلك تحولت لخطة دولية هي للحقيقة أيضا واضحة دكتور موسى. منها بند واضح وصريح متعلق بنزع سلاح المقاومة في قطاع غزة، وعلى حد علمي أنتم وافقتم على الخطة، والخطة بها هذا البند، وبالتالي أنتم وافقتم على نزع السلاح. فهل فهم الأمر بهذا الشكل صحيح؟
أولا في الخطة ليست صيغة واحدة. قضية السلاح فيها 3 صيغ في الخطة. فيها مرة تجميد، ومرة نزع، ومرة يعني أكثر من مرة فيها وصف التعامل مع السلاح. فيه حديث كثير حول هذا الموضوع، وعلى طاولة المفاوضات سنتحدث عنه. أي سلاح سينزع، وما الذي سينزع، وكيف سينزع، وما هي الحدود، ولماذا النزع، ومن القوة المسيطرة، وكيف تتحدث هذه القوة، ولماذا تأتي قوة من الخارج، لماذا لا تتحول القوة الحالية الموجودة إلى قوة لحفظ الاستقرار. وكثير من المسائل ستطرح على طاولة التفاوض.
Okay, so this is, as I said, this is, I think, this is a bombshell, because let's talk about it. So Musa Abu Marzuk, what's he saying here? That Hamas never agreed to disarm, right? You see that? Never agreed. What are you talking about? We never talked about disarmament. We never agreed to disarm. So they insist that. But then when he was pressed on it by the interviewer, look at what he pointed out. He said the 20-point agreement, the 20-point plan of Trump says a lot of vague things about disarmament. Now, he said something that was kind of half true. He said, well, there's 3 different options in the plan for disarmament it talks about, which is not exactly true. He is correct, though. I say it's half true because the biggest hole, the biggest flaw in the Trump 20-point plan is that it does not make clear what disarmament is supposed to look like. That is, again, that is the big problem with it. Let's just take a look at the Trump 20-point plan, okay? And we'll see there, that he's right. There's actually not any real plan for it. So here, let me just pull it up, and then I'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, so here's the Trump 20-point plan, and you see we'll scroll down here. Here's what it says. The first time it mentions the disarming of Hamas is here in number 5. Okay, it says number 6. Once all the hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. So there, it just says that Hamas members who want amnesty, who don't want to be killed or arrested, can lay down their weapons. It doesn't really talk about who's going to take the weapons away. And the next time it talks about Hamas's weapons, it's way down here. Let me find it. Here, Hamas and other factions agree to not, this is point 13 already. Hamas and other factions agree to not have any role in the governance of Gaza, directly, indirectly, or in any form. All military, terror, and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels and weapons production facilities, will be destroyed and not rebuilt. So that's not about weapons, but it's about their infrastructure. Here we go. This is the key line. There will be a process of demilitarization of Gaza under the supervision of independent monitors, which will include placing weapons permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning and supported by an internationally funded buyback and reintegration program, all verified by the independent monitors. This is all a word salad that basically says that somehow Hamas will be demilitarized. It does not say who will do it. It'll say it'll be supervised by independent monitors, but who's taking away the weapons? It will include placing the weapons beyond use. What does that mean? By who? Who's taking the weapons? An agreed upon process of decommissioning. Agreed upon by who? Doesn't say. So when I said that Musa Abu Marzuk was sort of right when he said that, hey, there's a lot of things that are left open by this plan about what demilitarization means, he's not far off. Because it is a big hole in the Trump plan. But you also saw in there, I think what's so significant about this clip is, besides the fact that he's insisting that they never agreed to lay down their weapons, I think the most significant thing is we get a window into what they're planning in the negotiations. What does it mean to lay down weapons? Which weapons get laid down? Who makes these decisions? And also, why do we need an international force to come in and be the new police force for the Gaza Strip? Why can't it just be the people who are there already? Well, who's the people who are there already? Gaza police are Hamas. Hamas is the only power there. So he's looking for different gray areas in the Trump 20-point plan that leave room for Hamas to remain in control. Because if the police force there is going to be local Palestinians rather than outsiders, okay, it'll be local Palestinians who aren't Hamas, but then it'll end up being Hamas anyway. Or who do we give the weapons to? How is it supposed to happen? Why is it supposed to happen? And notice he threw in another question there. How does this new body make statements? Why does he care so much about how do they make statements? Because for terrorist organizations, and you see this with all these terrorist organizations, the information warfare, the propaganda, the fear-mongering, and all the posturing they do verbally is very important to their whole strategy. So he's concerned, this is an interesting window into how they think. He's concerned in the new apparatus that gets set up, who controls the messaging of this new apparatus, because that can determine a lot of things. So this is a fascinating clip. Again, gives us a window in to how Hamas is thinking. But most importantly, if you're having conversations with your friends about what's going on in Gaza, and you want to be confident and say to them, listen, Hamas has no intention of giving up their weapons. They never agreed to it. the more recent and authoritative a quote you can show them, the better. This is, again, from January 28th, 2 days ago, one of the top people in Hamas saying that they never agreed to disarm. So this is a very important video. Make sure to like it and share it, and please tell other people about the channel. And as always, make sure to check out what's going on at Israel 365. I'll point out specifically on the Israel 365 YouTube channel, if you go to playlists, go to the playlists there. When you go to the YouTube channel, Israel 365, click playlists, and there is a playlist of 6 videos, 6 short videos that I made that lay out the case that Israel has become a regional superpower in the Middle East. And so it's a 6-part series. I think it's really interesting. I hope so. I just wanted to recommend it to you. Go ahead and check it out there. All right, be well. God bless.